Recording. Alright, I think we're live.
Sweet. Oh, I can see myself. That is a hell of a delay.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Alright, we are in fact live. Episode... We're gonna go with 16. I think it's number 16.
Half, no.
Yeah, who knows, right? I think it's 16.
Well, it is good to meet you and be here at Park Hills Underground for the first time.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Well, if I can pull this up. Alright, whatever, it'll be alright. Alright, we are here live on episode 16 of Live Sessions at the Underground. And before we get too carried away, I want to thank our sponsors, Park Hills Underground Radio, Craigwood Shelter Insurance, Smoke Till Valhalla, and the Artist United Network. Now, before we do get too far into this, if you're watching this live or, if you're listening, I'm not Kyle. Kyle has made the decision to step back from Live Sessions at the Underground for the time being, and kind of step away from the whole KL Media and Entertainment thing, hence why I didn't list them with our sponsors. That said, we wish Kyle all the best, and if he ever chooses to return, the door is, closed right now, but, metaphorically. Metaphorically speaking, it is open for him to do so. Again, we wish him all the best and all of that. Anyway, though, today I am joined by Mr. Steve Barnes, a.k.a. Khold Phusion. He's a DJ, bassist, who knows what all else. We're going to get all into that very soon. How you doing, man?
Oh, doing great. I do want to shout out to Kyle, too. Thank you very much for inviting me out here in the first place and getting to know me on, line. I hope wish you the best, my friend. But yeah, I do all kinds of stuff. I also do sound engineering. I also do, move it closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
You're good.
Cool. I do sound engineering. I have been doing my own music, basically one-man band stuff since I was probably 16.
Okay.
Started out with a band named 3.5 White Guys, and now you see me today. Can you guess who was the half?
So, yeah, I guess let's just kind of start, right at the very beginning. What was your introduction to music in the first place?
So basically, music-wise, I always enjoyed listening to cassettes and stuff growing up, and I found my love of like techno, funk, like with the 70s, and some other artists like Daft Punk, Aqua, strangely enough. But there were more songs than just Barbie Girl, I guarantee you. So I grew up listening to different things and getting into like R&B, and now you see me today. I've gotten into different forms of electronic music that I either produce or remix, DJ out in public. I take nostalgia of everybody's music they love, and I'll reform it to modern music I love. I play bass, drums. I have a band called, I don't even know right now, honestly. We were Abracadaver. Abracadaver, but we keep tossing around different ideas. But for now, that's what we are.
Okay. So, I guess let's just kind of start. I know your main thing is DJing, right? We were talking about, what to actually call it. But for the sake of simplicity, for right now, we'll call it DJing.
For sure.
How'd you get kind of started in that world?
That world, I loved the EDM scene. Back when I was younger, I got heavily into that kind of, scene, basically. So, I found my love for heavy bass then. And it was more than just music. It was more of a feeling when you got there. You experienced everything. And it just kind of became one with you. And the vibrations, the sound, the morphing of just your reality. No, not the drugs. But the music. It was incredible. And then you went to more shows, got more genres and different aspects of everything.
Yeah.
Different people and whatnot. So you just learned to get into it. So then I started finding out more artists and realizing my friends are doing this and there's people doing that. Well, I need to learn it. Never fucking understood it. Never. I even tried for like a year and a half. But because I've always been a musician, I play bass, I do everything by ear. I learn music and, I can read music to an extent, but I just love to sit there and create original stuff and layer it. So with that in mind, I couldn't really understand the electronic in front of me. But when you unlock the electronic to be your instrument and you start understanding and, taking tutorials and whatnot, you realize that you can do a lot more than just play track to a track and then maybe even just mix a couple things together. And that's how I formed what I am today. I do love DJing, but I love remixing every track, specifically harmonizing it and putting it to fat bass.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not bass, sometimes it's funk, sometimes it's anything. Multi-genre.
Yeah, I mean, we were when we were sound checking you, you were doing everything from you had some metal in there, some hip hop, some R&B, yeah,
Era from Phase 1. I mean, I was using all kinds of different things. SX, Disturbed.
Yeah, really cool.
They went to the 70s with the I'm Your Boogeyman.
So I imagine being a DJ, you do a lot of different, or you're hired in a lot of different settings. You do weddings, you do raves, you do proms, you do
Sweet 16.
Yes,
I got one coming up actually 2 months ago.
So how do you kind of approach each situation differently, I guess?
It has been an interesting journey finding that out because I've been doing this for about like 7 years now, DJing off and on, and then learning that I can make money from my talents, like we all should.
Right.
So I started doing that. Started with weddings because that's where the money's at, but man, it can be cumbersome. And when you get better and better and better at it, it's really not hard anymore, unless, there's something that goes on that you really need to fix. But if you know your stuff and you're a professional with what you do, there's no issues why you shouldn't be making money what you're doing.
Yeah.
So with weddings, you got to be strictly professional. You have to correlate everything to what they want. It doesn't matter what you want.
Right.
If you think that's going to work, it probably won't. You have to read the crowd, have to play things you don't want to play. And if you're really good at it eventually, you can kind of stir the people into what you want them to hear. But it's a very fickle thing to do because it's a wedding. You're there to perform for the people that paid you and make their night perfect. It's not your show.
Right.
But then when you go to raves, I don't take requests. Like, no, I do what I do. And like, you're going to enjoy it. And everybody always seems to. I record every set that I do. It's on my SoundCloud. So, I mean, I'm very different with whatever I'm hired for.
Mm-hmm.
I will specifically make remixes for your event, depending on what you want. You want to have a themed event? I'm your guy.
Yeah. There's a couple of DJs I see pop up on TikTok occasionally, and they do weddings and stuff, and they a lot of times they'll have like do not playlist or must playlist. Is that like a real thing?
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay.
For sure. I've had people tell me like, do not play these songs, and it's like, those are the songs that everybody wants. Like, yeah, that's
Right.
the point.
Yeah.
Like, I love you.
I mean, I get both sides of that, I guess. Yeah. I guess like when it comes to the actual music, like,
Yes.
that you're playing, again, does that just go back to whatever the client requests or?
Exactly. So I've kind of learned through the time, instead of trying to just give them, basically with any business, if you're trying to win somebody over, you don't just give them all the options in the world for them to decide. You're the businessman. You need to decide what for them to make it easy, efficient, and profitable for both of you to bring value to each other.
Mm.
But when you give people options, it kind of confuses them and they don't know what they want. Then you got to go backtrack later on. Like, well, we don't. So you just kind of give them this, or this, and you go down those roads. So my point to a wedding, when I first meet the customer, my first question is, you're hiring me for you. What do you guys expect out of a DJ? What kind of DJ do you want to hire? That meaning, do you want to hire just a playlist player who will take what you want and play them, maybe, fade them into each other? Or do you want someone that's going to be immersive with the crowd, kind of play with your music and, get people pumped up with something a little bit different? Or do you want a full-blown, like, party
Right.
and have everything just mind-blowing and exclusive to you that you can't really get anywhere else? Not necessarily meaning my remixes at all.
Sure.
I will take their remix or their songs on the fly that they give me through a playlist, and that will do my magic live and remix everything.
Right.
And people love it.
Well, and especially too, because I know you're getting a lot of requests throughout the night. So, it definitely takes a talent to, oh, well, let me find a way to fit this into what I'm already
For
playing,
sure.
you know?
And sometimes like it doesn't work. And like, I haven't bombed anything, especially at a wedding. Like I make sure I know what I'm doing before I do it. But that's why you have the cue and the things that you can do behind the scenes that nobody knows about.
Right.
So you really got to like learn your instrument, like
Yeah.
make sure you're doing things proper.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that DJing is just getting up there pushing buttons. And I mean, it is to an extent, but it is more than that.
I've
There,
always said that too.
you
Like
know,
button, who's got the button?
Right.
But it's not. It's a lot more.
yeah, there's
It can
definitely,
be.
yeah, there's definitely like an art to it. It is an instrument,
So I just got hired for a gig the other day. Just real quick, for instance, like I had 16 or 15 gigs this month. Well, and my last one was just a random booking from Secret Society of Dabbers. Thank you, Brian and PJ. It was for a home community block party. It was huge. They didn't know what they were hiring. PJ and Brian did. And I told them, like, I'm a DJ, but I'm a remix artist. I can offer karaoke, blah, blah, blah. What do they want? Well, I got there and they didn't know what they wanted. So I was like, okay, well, they wanted karaoke, but they also want me to play Halloween stuff. Let me show you what I do in 5 minutes. Because everybody's like, what do you mean you remix music? Here, I'll show you. Not one single person requested a karaoke song the whole time. Everybody was just partying.
Awesome.
They loved it.
yeah,
So
that's really cool.
it was fun. But sometimes you don't have people into what you're into. Like out here at Kusos, I was loving that and had a great time. It didn't mean any disrespect whatsoever at the end. But with all these gigs and this being so far away, when one person comes up and just tells you that nobody in the room likes what you're doing, but everybody's getting down, but now everybody's gone, 'cause it's
Right.
late, and he's just drunk. It's like, man, you know what? That's okay. You can pay for your own music. I'm just going to go ahead and kill it and go home then.
Yeah.
You usually never do that, but sometimes it can happen.
Yeah.
But you got to stay professional.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, but as you said, yeah, you definitely have to be professional.
Shout out to that guy. You know,
that guy.
it's cool. It doesn't matter. I get it. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
You got to come over your own ego and realize maybe they're not.
Yeah, I mean, you're
But they all were. It was
right.
fun.
Yeah, and I mean, you're getting paid either way, so.
And I took requests that time.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. And we mentioned it briefly, but you've also been in a few bands here and there. What kind of started your I guess, physical instrument journey?
Drums.
Drums.
Yeah,
Okay.
back in the day, I had a Toys R Us drum kit. But before that, I was trying to make a drum kit out of, pots, pans, freaking whatever you could do. It's like everybody says. But yeah, eventually got a cheap drum kit, started drumming on that, loved it. And then tried to move on to guitar. My fingers are too fat and stupid. But then bass, ooh, I
Yeah.
could flow that, push it properly, and just started playing more of like an octopus finger Claypool style through time. And then I still play drums, because percussion and bass go together.
Mm-hmm.
And started layering and learning how to do my own sound design. And with Sony Acid and then Ableton, Fruity Loops, I did all through high school before I had instruments. So I've kind of had a wide variety of things that I've done when I was growing up, musically, but all on my own.
Yeah. Do you think playing actual instruments or being a DJ kind of has made you better at the other, if that makes sense?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
You learn your rhythms better. You learn your melodies, your harmonizations, your keys, your everything.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, you've been in a couple of bands. I think your most recent one, or you're kind of working on, was what, Abracadaver?
Yeah, Abracadaver. So basically, it's kind of like a dark magician / like ominous kind of vibe of music and whatnot. Or I guess the theme. But we play everything. We play anything from punk to metal to funk to rockabilly to anything at all, really.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll have like my bass synthesizer and add some like dubstep kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And for sure.
Okay. And you guys don't play out a whole lot right now, right?
Right now, we all have a lot of things going on
Sure.
with families and kids, but that's kind of been the excuse for the past 6 years. So I'm
Well,
trying to
I
get
mean,
over that hurdle.
Yeah.
But life is crazy sometimes.
Are there any recordings out there that people can listen to?
Yes,
Yeah.
there is. Everything I have is usually on my SoundCloud. I have YouTube and stuff too, but a lot of things get pulled for copyright.
Sure.
Not our originals, but with what I do,
Yeah.
So you can find all my stuff on SoundCloud with them, live jams that we just hit the button and record button and do whatever we do. There's also long mixes that I've recorded live DJing from like raves to people's events, yada yada, that are all live and enjoyable.
So have had wow, I can't talk. We've had a lot of artists on here. You're the 16th one. And I think something we talked to a lot of them about is kind of the songwriting process. And I guess for you as a DJ with your original music, it's a little different. And it's not exactly called songwriting, but more producing.
Right.
What's kind of your process just from like step one? Like say you want to create an original piece of music, what do you do?
Depends on what I'm feeling. Like if I'm feeling like I want to, write something funky with bass or guitar, usually what I'll do is I'll get like a simple drum track. I try to have everything in my DAW ready in front of me, so I have like finger drums. I have everything simple. The keys that are small, just little tidbits that I can make, happen quickly. Then the big drums and stuff come later. So I'll just tap my rhythm out, get it to where I want it. Then I got my metronome, so it's not just the ding, ding, and annoying me. And then I just kind of try to hit record, take a good take. Instead of just trying to take the perfect take, just keep playing. And then you clip it out later. You got to shave your frustrations down. And throughout time, you find out how to do that. Because recording music can be very, very frustrating and cumbersome.
Absolutely.
So that's how I'll start, getting a track together. And then I'll have different pools of ideas. And then I'll start kind of DJing them in. Not literally with a mixer, but with Ableton and certain things, you can play with them and figure out what works for you. And you might find something you didn't even realize you liked. And then you can save it as something else, and then you have another song that you can work with to tweak, completely different. But that's usually how I start a song out. And then I'll layer things with other instruments and try to, figure out my vibe.
Yeah.
One thing I do have troubles with, though, with a lot of people seem to too, when they play alone, you do too much. And I always try to make room for everything. But when you literally are everything, it's hard to fight with yourself to keep room on all the instruments. So much discipline.
So in that scenario, do you find it easier to write music with a band because like each person kind of can bring their own aspect to it, or?
Yes and no. If you click and you vibe and you all are on the same page, yes.
Yeah.
If not, it is very difficult because no one wants to do what you want to do. They want to do what they want to do, and yada yada.
Yeah. Yeah, in doing this, I've learned I've obviously talked to a lot of people, and I've learned that, being in a band is very much it's a business in a way. And, part of that is getting along with your coworkers.
Exactly.
So, having good chemistry with your, bandmates and, the people you work with, I think is key to this business. And, just writing good music.
For sure. And like with any relationship, like you don't have to have all the same interests and like know about
Right.
everything each other knows about. You just do your thing and be friends, and you all come together and do what you do.
Well, and that I think part of that is what brings so many different sounds to the table. Like you said, you guys do metal and jazz and
Right.
funk and a little bit of everything. So each person having their own tastes and styles and way of doing things probably
It's a
influences that a lot too.
It confuses the hell out of people sometimes. Like, what are you? And it's like, it doesn't matter. We are what we are.
Right.
It'll be what it'll be.
Yeah. So I guess kind of my next question, and I know you have a lot of influences, but like number one, like what is your biggest influence in the music you create?
So with regular, like, bass, guitar, like actual, like, instrumental music and whatnot, I would have to say Les Claypool style, like basically all of his side project. I grew up on all of that.
Oh yeah.
I know, like, back in art class, I heard this weird country hick sound, man, just, what the fuck is this? And then the bass and then the weird guitar, like, I like it.
And then it was Primates.
Yeah, it's like Pork Soda CD, and it's like, what the hell am I looking at? And it evolved from there. Then I've been to like the first Bacchanalia that they ever had long ago. Just met them there. Steve Ewing.
Oh
I
yeah.
had a bunch of bands there and people, and
Yeah.
that kind of like started my quote unquote festival scene vibe feel.
Okay.
Like, this is what that's about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
be careful out there, people. 'Cause there's some snakes.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's life anywhere
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. No, you mentioned Steve Ewing. He's performed down here a couple of times, just him and his guitar player, and it's an
Awesome.
amazing show every time. There's so much energy, and everybody's having fun, singing along. It's really cool. Yeah.
And it's cool bringing people together like this. This is
Right.
amazing.
Well, and then, the other thing, too, is like, how many people can say that they've seen Steve Ewing in Park Hills, Missouri?
Right.
I mean, I know he's from St. Louis, but still, it's
He's
like,
been in your venue. So
right.
it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know him along with we've had Trapped and Head PE and Afro Man and Cottonmouth
Yeah, I've been
Kings and
seeing the
yeah,
flyers and whatnot.
yeah, we've had some really cool shows. But I know you do a lot of stuff up at 21 Rock, right?
Yes,
You wanna
recently because it's. I mean, I live pretty close by,
okay?
and they're very, very down to earth, humble people. Speaking of which, do you mind if I do a shout out real
Yeah,
quick? So Colleen and Jim own 21 Rock now. They've been keeping the history of what it is, but trying to reform some things to open up the demographics of more business to people and different people. So I've been doing more productions there, like my kind of stuff, raves, to like I will market it for that so people know what it is. But I will also like host bands, work with other people like Lisa Captures Art and Greg Umps, and work with real bands to put in there. I will also like I've been doing a comedy show there recently. Wasn't planning on that, but I'm pretty funny. A lot of people around me are like, it'd be kind of neat to throw a comedy show. And then people kept asking me, so we did it.
yeah,
And that was the first one. It was pretty good. It wasn't amazing,
sure.
but it was good. Buster Slocum came out, killed it. Chris Folsom came out. He has 25 years within like the Funny Bone and whatnot. So when I do things, people hear about it and they start to kind of want to get interested. So I love networking. I DJ Cruz in Lindbergh. I DJ all kinds of different stuff. Rock and Roll Arena, to in the city. Was DJ Mississippi Underground for a while.
Okay,
A bunch of things. It's been great.
yeah. Yeah, no, you mentioned Greg. I know Greg. He did a show down here last year. His band, well, I don't know if he's still in them, but
Oh yeah.
Dirty King, they played it, and a couple other bands. They did a fundraiser or a food drive for the
Yep. And he's doing it
food
again.
pantry next door. And yeah, I know he does it a lot up there at 21 Rock. He does a lot of really good charity stuff up
Right.
there, which yeah,
And that's
definitely,
what I'm all about too, man.
yeah,
Because everybody needs help sometimes. Like right now,
absolutely.
Tori Mittendorf got wrecked into, or she had a wreck along with Lex Laney. She also had her own individual wreck recently where somebody slammed into her. So we are actually doing two benefits. If you go on my Facebook, everybody, it would be awesome if you could check it out and maybe if you could even donate.
Absolutely.
They would really appreciate the help. And Lexi has, two boys. She is not doing well and could really use the assistance.
Yeah, yeah. Park Hills Underground is we're non for profit. Uh, obviously every business has to be able to keep the lights on, but all the money raised just goes back into the
Right.
place.
Thank you very much, Weed is my love language, for helping me sponsor this event too.
Yeah, yeah. All the money we make here, it just goes back into the place, and we do things to further help the community and just that kind of stuff. So it's cool that you've got a background in that and you're here, able to talk about that.
For sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I had a train of thought and then I lost it.
So, all good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to derail.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what do you got coming up here in the next few months?
So, like I said, I did have a bunch of events recently, and like I'm kind of trying to like recoup. But right now, I'm working on these two benefits. Handed out a bunch of flyers around town, stuck them up on bulletin boards in different places. Trying to get raffle baskets together. Anything I can do to help out. I have a Sweet 16 party that I always sometimes I just kind of like go out and clear my head, and I'll bring my equipment or my bass, whatever, skateboard. But this time I took my equipment, my mobile setup that's out there with two battery powered speakers. Went to the park, just doing my thing. Somebody came up and like I noticed that like I started gathering a crowd because I'm trying to play okay stuff like that's not going to be offensive,
Yeah.
but doing like what I do. Like what is you were really interesting, and like they came up and they booked me for her birthday party.
Okay.
It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I've gotten gigs from hanging out with Smokey D's and playing with him. He's a barbecue vendor, and I'll pop up with his shack mobily and just start spinning tunes, but holiday remixes and whatever.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
Yeah, I know you did a show down at Cousins in Farmington recently, right?
Yeah.
How'd that end up
It was
going?
awesome. The people were super humble. Like everybody was very, very fun. The bartenders were amazing.
Yeah.
Miranda was great.
Okay.
And they wanted me to come back. I'm just trying to figure out my schedule.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know that was one Kyle kind of set up, right?
Yes, yeah.
He always spoke very highly of working there. So
For sure.
yeah, they seem like good people.
And they got pool tables. I'm always down with pool
Nice. Yeah, I think we're gonna be getting one here soon.
tables. You'll see a lot more of me.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I think we're about ready to kind of go into the performance portion, unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
Um, no, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. I've been doing this for about 27 years off and on, with life, trying to support a family and stuff. And there's a lot of things to dive through if you do go on my pages, my SoundCloud mostly, I would say. But there's YouTubes and stuff too. You can see me live mixing, and I need to do a lot more with media, honestly. I'm
Yeah.
just busy.
No, yeah, I feel that. I do a million things here. Plus, I have a day job. Plus, all the other little stuff I'm into. It's,
Yep,
time is, unfortunately, there's only 24 hours in a day.
indeed. So, I mean, if there's anything lastly I could say is that I'm Khold Phusion. I do a lot of different things as we talked about, but my main focus right now that makes a lot of joy for my heart is remixing music. So I remix anything from video game music. I took every single song from Ocarina of Time, because that's my favorite game ever, which, Zelda. Put it from the very beginning to the very end, from every song you hear in order, to Fat Bass, to all my favorite artists, and put little skits I made in between to make it immersive. To music everybody knows. I'm the weaver of womps, twister of tunes, and the blender of beats. Let's go find out why.
Love it. All right, we're going to go get Mr. Steve Barnes set up on stage here shortly. But before we do, let's go ahead and thank our sponsors once again. Park Hills Underground Radio, Smoke Till Valhalla, Craigwood Shelter Insurance, and the Artist United Network. Now, real quick, we do have a couple more things scheduled for the year. November 17th, again at 4:30 p.m., we will be joined by the Family Ties Band. They're I guess, rock and country band from around the area. They do a lot of covers, but they're going to come on the show and play some of their original songs, and, we'll talk about life and music just like we have today with Steve here. And then, not officially announced yet, but I guess we can go and talk about it. I think we might have talked about it on the show before. December 6th here at Park Hills Underground, we have a live sessions at the Underground show. So we got a couple of previous guests coming onto the show. We'll have Bigfoot, Everfelt. They're going to come down and do another stripped down performance. And then we got a couple of acoustic guys that we've had on the show previously. On that show as well, and it'll be a lot of fun. Doors will be at 7, show will start at 8, it'll be $10 at the door. Again, look for more information on that very soon. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get Steve on stage, and we'll be with you.
Shout out to Proficient Prophet and Jaded Thoughts. They are rappers in Cape Girardeau, and I took their song and remixed it with my track.
Never should have put that thing on the end. Syndrome on the beat, so you know it's slap. It's a murder trial, but I said fuck the law. It's a murder trial, but I said fuck the law. Look around, it's a murder trial, but I said fuck the law. Kill these beats, bury the deceased, send it up to God. Bitch, you hate it, we gotta make it. We've been through it all. I'm the kingpin, just keep on swinging with my back to the wall. Don't These years they held me down. Sad boy living on, really need to give up when you know the women fly all these shots going hit. Got a couple homies, riding by the notice, so you know we got a mission with the crew on it. How we been riding, you know we been finding, you know I fit the prosper, but I just call me proficient. If you ain't giving my name right, then just give me some digits. And if you person, hey, give me blood like I'm God's kin. Put it on for free, snap. Put it on for free, snap. Got a couple homies, riding by the notice, so you know we got a mission and the crew on it. How we been riding, you know we been finding, you know right now we gotta do this shit, yeah. Hey, and I don't need no cocaine to get me hyped up, you know we blow.
Shout out to Spencer Hanning. About the St. Louis River. Thank you very much. Do you want me to play one song from my band or got it? Okay, cool. My bad. I thought I had it ready. There we go. So this is more of our punk style slash funk, and you'll kind of get an idea. We do heavy metal too.
Again, that was Steve Barnes, aka Khold Phusion, here on Live Sessions at the Underground. We'll be back on November 17th with the Family Ties Band. That'll be at 4:30. Again, we want to thank Steve for coming out and being on the show. Yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Live Sessions at the Underground. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Park Hills Underground, Park Hills Underground Radio, Craigwood Shelter Insurance, Smoke Till Valhalla, and the Artist United Network. Yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Live Sessions at the Underground.